So that's what I've been doing for the last 3 months instead of posting YouTube videos. And if you're anything like me, sometimes school just feels like so overwhelming because of all the deadlines and the stress that's just piled on top of you. And it really just feels like you're just sitting through the grind most of the day with like little bits of like fun and happiness here and there. That doesn't make that much of a difference. And even though it was around final exams, I've had some of the most fun I've ever experienced in my life. And you know what? I think the key to enjoying school life is expectation, progress, and organization. Like a lot of people, I used to have this expectation that living it up or enjoying life was somehow supposed to be no stress and no deadlines, spending time with family all day, playing video games all day, or spending time with friends all day. And I think that is not only unrealistic, but honestly, exhausting as well. I've had days where I've had the entire day to myself and I would just spend all day playing video games or hanging out with friends and whatever, and it was great. But it didn't make my day-to-day life any better. And in fact, sometimes it honestly made it worse. Because I'd wake up the next day thinking, oh, back to reality. There's nothing wrong with that feeling, it's natural, but it's not something that I would want to chase. Because to me, that's not really enjoying life. That's just higher highs and lower lows. I want my day-to-day life to be pretty cool, not some really, really good days and some absolutely miserable days with no in-between. And to be clear, I'm not saying that you need to be all work-life balance. I've been pretty vocal about how you need to be constantly chasing your goals and spending most of your time working towards them if you want to achieve anything big. But I do believe in work-life integration. Balance is like this fixed ratio where you have parts of the day or parts of the week that are reserved just for relaxing. And although it sounds awesome to hear, it's not very practical, at least in my opinion. But work-life integration is trying to maximize the amount of enjoyment while still making sure you do the necessary actions and put in the necessary time to achieve your goals. It's like saying, I'm going to go relax so that I can perform better, which to me is the whole point of relaxing, especially at a time where you're still developing yourself, you're still trying to prove yourself and grind your way up in life. Maybe it sucks to hear, but I truly don't think that at this age, between 15 to 25, we should be just living it up and enjoying life in the same way that people who've already made it in life do, Obviously, there are integral parts of our childhood that we should cherish and embrace, and I've tried my best to do that in the intro, as you saw, but it doesn't mean that we should just be throwing the rest of our life away to maximize these moments now. There has to be a level of preparing for the future, and a lot of the times it should be more of preparing for the future than trying to just enjoy it to the best of your ability. I don't know, maybe that's crazy to say, but I think there's a world where you can do both. That's what I'm trying to achieve. And I think a lot of that comes down to expectations. Trying to be realistic with what you can and cannot achieve relative to your goals. Like for me, I know that I can't go out on these extravagant hangouts with friends while also trying to maintain grades and balance a part-time job and work out and do whatever. Sometimes I have to settle with the most I can afford to do if I really want to go hang out is, study with some friends and then get some dinner afterwards. And you got to be okay with that, You can't just be like,
I want everything and I demand everything of the universe.
It's just not going to happen. And I think when you spell out what you can actually afford, it honestly doesn't seem as bad because you kind of in your head know okay, yeah, this is what I'm going to get. And it's not settling, it's not being lazy, it's not being unambitious, it's being aware of your boundaries. And I think that's really important. And if you want to take it to another level, I think there's a really real skill in trying to enjoy life in smaller moments. Being able to smile and say, this cup of coffee and a breeze made my day, rather than needing an entire Hawaii getaway just to feel satisfied. Some of my most memorable hangouts were actually literally just like going to the library with friends, studying, and then getting some food after, and then taking a late night drive. That was really fun, you know? It doesn't have to be crazy stuff. And I think if you can manage to feel happier with less, you're going to be able to afford to get a lot more done. And to do that, you really just have to take a step back and try to just exist in the mundane life for a while. You know, it's going to be boring, but if you make an effort to really just be conscious of how you feel and notice the little details and just try to smile with less going on, I think it'll be very, very helpful for you. At least it was for me. But even with the right expectations in check, it still gets really easy to get burnt out and feel like the days are super monotonous and unrewarding, especially if you are not achieving something every day. You have to have this sense of progression. The way I've been able to manage that and keep myself motivated has been having actually a lot of goals. I have this little strategy where I try to have this one big goal that I'm working towards, or maybe like 2 to 3, depends. And I'll have a bunch of tiny ones. For example, when I was doing my final exams, the only thing I was thinking about was getting through X amount of chapters per day because I needed to cover everything before the exams, right? But in between that, you know, I'm not a robot. I can't just study 8 hours at a time with no breaks. And so in between, I'll try to do things that are relatively productive that make me feel like I'm still making progress towards something else in my life. Like skincare. I tried to do my skincare routine in the morning and the night. You know, I tried to stretch a lot because I'm super unflexible, and I tried to work out. I tried to see friends once a week, and you know, just hitting these little things on my little checklist made it a lot easier to feel like I was still moving in the right direction despite just absolutely getting crushed by exams. But the real cherry on top of all this is the organization aspect. It's really hard to keep your expectations right and to have so many goals and track them without a good system for organizing things. And you know, I've made a million videos in the past about how to organize, how to study, blah blah blah, but I think do whatever works best for you and just keep trying new things. I've tried calendars, I've tried writing down notes, I've tried sticky notes, I've tried so many different things. And now I just use Google Calendar and log my day and try to plan the next day from the night before. And I tried to keep it simple. So I hope you found this video helpful. It's been months since I've posted, and I honestly don't even know where this channel is going. But I'm going to continue posting whenever I feel like. And thank you for just sticking with me throughout the entire process. And maybe I'll see you soon.